Soccer sometimes gives us matchups that seem written to connect generations. Lionel Messi, still relevant, still decisive, still capable of changing a match with one play. And on the other side, Lamine Yamal, one of the most impressive young talents in the world, looking at the legend not only with admiration, but also with the desire to face him. After Argentina's latest victory over Algeria, Messi's name once again became the center of the conversation. And among the reactions that drew the most attention was Lamine Yamal's, who would have left a very clear view. For him, Messi truly remains the best in the world. Welcome to Football Radar. Today we are going to talk about Lamine Yamal, his praise for Lionel Messi, and the desire he would have to cross paths with Argentina in this World Cup in order to share the pitch with a living legend. Argentina's victory against Algeria once again showed something that already seems like a natural part of this team. When Messi is on the pitch, everything feels different. It is not only about the result. It is not only about goals, assists, or statistics. It is about the feeling he generates. Every time he receives the ball, the temperature of the match changes. Lamine Yamal would have observed that very closely, and not from the perspective of an ordinary fan, but from the perspective of a footballer who understands how difficult it is to play under pressure, receive the ball while marked, make quick decisions, and still find the best option. That is why, when he speaks about Messi, the admiration carries a different weight. For Yamal, the most impressive thing about Messi is not only his talent, it is the way he manages to make everything look simple. He receives the ball, surrounded by opponents, and does not rush. He lifts his head and finds a pass nobody saw. He seems to be walking, but in reality, he is reading the match. He does not need to be involved in every play to dominate the rhythm. It is enough for him to appear at the exact right moment, and that, for a young player, is an enormous lesson. Because Lamine Yamal represents a new generation, a fast, bold, technical generation used to living under the exposure of social media, media pressure, and constant comparisons. But Messi represents something even greater, proof that talent can be sustained for years when it is accompanied by intelligence, patience, and love for the game. After Argentina against Algeria, Yamal would have highlighted precisely that longevity. Messi is not only a legend remembered in videos. He is not just a name from the past. He is a footballer who still competes, still decides, and still inspires those who are beginning to build their own path. That is why his phrase carries so much strength. Messi truly is the best in the world, not as an empty compliment, not as a phrase to look good, but as a footballing conclusion. Because when a player like Yamal looks at Messi, he does not only notice the spectacular, he notices the details, the first touch, the pause, the movement before receiving, the way he attracts opponents, the patience to wait for the right space, and the precision to punish when it appears. Those are things that do not always make it into a highlight reel, but they explain why Messi remains different. Yamal would have recognized that facing him in a World Cup would be one of those challenges any footballer dreams of experiencing. Not out of provocation, not out of arrogance, and much less by underestimating Argentina. Quite the opposite. Precisely because he knows how difficult it would be, the possibility excites him. Great players want to measure themselves against the best. And for Lamine, sharing the pitch with Messi would be a unique experience. Seeing up close how he moves, how he interprets spaces, how he manages timing, and how he influences his teammates. It would be competing against someone who does not only play the match, but often seems to understand it before everyone else. That possible clash between Spain and Argentina would have enormous value, not only because of the quality of the two national teams, but because of the symbolism. Messi and Yamal on the same pitch, the legend and the promise, the player who defined an era and the young player who wants to start defining his own. And the most interesting thing is that Yamal would not seem to look at that scenario with fear. He would look at it with excitement, with respect, yes, but also with competitive hunger. Because admiring Messi does not mean wanting to avoid him. For a footballer with a big mentality, admiring him also means wanting to face him, learn from that challenge, and test himself on the most demanding stage. Argentina, after defeating Algeria, once again showed that it is a team that believes deeply in its leader. Messi's teammates look for him naturally. They know that when the ball goes through him, something different can appear. A through ball, a change of pace, an unexpected pause, a play that breaks the opponent's plan. And that is something Yamal would have valued a lot. Messi does not only improve Argentina technically, he also elevates them emotionally. He makes the team play with more confidence. He keeps opponents alert at all times. He gives every match a special tension because everyone knows that a single action from him can change the story. For a young player, understanding that is fundamental. Soccer is not only about dribbling or appearing in highlights, it is also about influencing, about making others better, about staying calm when the match gets complicated, about making the right decision when everyone expects something extraordinary. Messi has done that throughout his entire career, and he still does. That is why, for Yamal, seeing him shine again with Argentina would not be a surprise, but a confirmation. A confirmation that great players do not depend only on age or physical ability. They depend on the mind, on reading the game, on quality, and on that special capacity to compete when the context demands more. Lamine Yamal also knows what it means to carry expectations. Despite his youth, he is already seen as one of the great figures of the future. Every match he plays generates analysis. Every action is discussed. Every appearance sparks comparisons. And perhaps that is why he understands better than many the dimension of what Messi has endured for so many years. Because Messi did not only play under pressure, he lived under pressure. He was compared, questioned, demanded from, and analyzed for more than 2 decades. And even so, he kept responding. He kept winning. He kept getting back up. He kept being decisive. That part of his story can also inspire a player like Yamal. It is not about copying Messi. That would be impossible. Every footballer has his own path. But it is about learning from his way of competing, from his patience, from his ability to choose moments, from his relationship with the ball, from his way of making a difficult match look clearer. Yamal would have made it clear that if destiny crosses Spain with Argentina, he would experience it as an opportunity to compete against the best, to share a World Cup pitch with him, and to feel challenged by a national team that continues to have Messi as its absolute reference. Those are the kinds of matches that shape players. Not the comfortable matches, not the easy nights, but the stages where in front of you there is a legend, a champion team, and millions of eyes watching. For Lamine, facing Messi would be a test of character, one of those nights that can teach more than many training sessions. Because when you play against someone like that, every detail counts. Every giveaway can be dangerous. Every space conceded can be decisive. Every second of distraction can end in an unforgettable play. And that is exactly why the challenge is so attractive. Yamal's admiration does not sound distant. It sounds like a desire to compete, like deep respect, like recognition of greatness, but also like that natural ambition of someone who wants to belong on the biggest stages in world soccer. After Argentina against Algeria, it became clear once again that Messi continues to provoke something special. Not only among Argentine fans, not only among his teammates, also among the new generations who grew up watching him and who now dream of facing him. That is what makes this story so powerful. Messi remains a reference even for those who are already called to be protagonists of the future. Yamal may have talent, personality, and an enormous road ahead of him. But when he speaks about Messi, he recognizes something simple and undeniable. He is still in front of someone unique. A possible Spain against Argentina would be much more than a match. It would be a generational image. History facing the future, experience facing youth, the legend who still competes against the talent who is just beginning to write his most important pages. And if that matchup happens, Lamine Yamal would await it with excitement, not as a threat, but as a footballing gift. Because sharing the pitch with Lionel Messi in a World Cup is not just anything. It is an experience that can mark a career. That is why his words have so much value, because they are not trying to provoke. They are not trying to compare. They are not trying to debate legacies. They simply recognize Messi's greatness and express the desire to experience the highest challenge, facing him in the most important tournament. Argentina continues moving forward with confidence. Messi continues proving that his influence remains intact. And Lamine Yamal, from the perspective of the new generation, seems to have it very clear. If he has to cross paths with Argentina, let it be with excitement. If he has to face Messi, let it be with respect and ambition. And if he has to share the pitch with the best in the world, let it be to learn, compete, and see up close why Lionel Messi still plays as if every night could become history.